What's up, Kansas City? I'm your host, Glenn Brian Frizzell. Today we are taping Lincoln Historic Building, home of Cascade Media, right here in the 18th and Vine District. Today's special guest currently sits on the Hickman Mills Public School Board. He's serving as vice president. He is seeking re-election in the April 8th election. Should he win, he will be one of 10 candidates that will possibly be serving a 3-year term. Let's give our best and welcome Mr. Dan Osman to What's Up Kansas City here today.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome. Be our guest for a while. We hope during the 20 minutes our voters, our viewers will be able to decide and make intelligent decisions when arriving at the election poll on April 8th. Can you tell us why you are seeking re-election for the Hickman Mills School District School Board?
Absolutely. Basic fact is my job isn't done yet. I came into the district wanting to, number one, get our accreditation back up from where it was. Number two, get more community involvement. And number three, get our finances in order. And I think that we've done a really good job on finances over the last 3 years, but I think that I've done a really great job myself on getting community involvement. But the third step of getting that accreditation, that's what we need to keep in mind. There's a lot going on just in the next couple of months through the next budgetary cycle that are very complex and very detailed oriented, and we need people on this board that can pay attention to the facts and pay attention to what's actually going on, so that they understand and can ask the intelligent questions and do what's right for this district. And I believe that I am one of those people.
Mr. Dan Osman, a little more background information about you. Where did you grow up?
I've been a Kansas City resident my entire life. I grew up on the Kansas side over in Prairie Village, Kansas, and that's where I spent the majority of my time as a child.
Prairie Village.
Prairie Village, Kansas, yep.
And where did you go for your school education?
Well, for high school I went to Shawnee Mission East. For undergrad I went to the University of Wisconsin in Madison. So I spent about 4 years up there. So the weather down here, everyone complains about how cold it gets down here. I'm like, I was there in t-shirt weather. It was no big deal. Then I went to law school.
It gets cold here, or it gets cold?
Oh, it gets cold. It gets cold up in Madison. I mean, my freshman year, it was 2 straight weeks of -degree weather.
Yeah, I could drive a truck right through that.
I went to graduate school or law school at the University of Kansas, School of Law in Lawrence. And then from there, I've been practicing.
Wow, and you have worked on the Human Relations Board professionally?
Yes. So for the last 5 years, I was with the city of Kansas City, Missouri, working in the Human Relations Department. My 2 primary focuses were on workforce compliance and MBEWB compliance. So basically that meant that I was looking to make sure that women and minorities got participation on contracts, subcontracting opportunities, and labor opportunities within the construction industry.
Sounds very exciting. Are there any specific challenges or successes that you're proud of that you want to mention to your work there at the Relations Board?
Well, for me, I think, there were a couple of good successes. One was when we realized a couple of years into the process that the ordinance itself wasn't working the way that we wanted it to. And so I worked with legal counsel upstairs to sort of draft new ordinances for both for workforce. And we got it passed by City Council, and it's implemented now. And I think that it's doing a really great job to make sure that contractors are staying in compliance a lot better. The second thing is, making sure going through what's called a good faith effort process. Nobody likes this, but it's labor intensive, it's paperwork intensive, but what it basically means is at some point the contractor screwed up in the process. I come in and find out, what did you do? What can we do to fix it, and what are the ramifications for it? And I think that working with the contractors and having a good relationship with them and knowing that we can get through this process to make it work better on the other end solves a lot of problems up front.
Human Relations, do you know Mr. Paul Pierce? I believe he's a fellow J.
Yes, I do, yes. We worked together. He worked on the civil rights section, so we didn't often interact, but we were in the same department together.
Awesome. We're all about building community relations here. Can you tell us a little bit about your civic and community involvement?
Well, A lot of my involvement has been within the Hickman Mills School District, and then been and so for the last 3 years, I've been on the Hickman Mills School Board. The last year, I've been the vice president of it. But for me, it goes beyond just going to meetings. I talked about this when I ran the first time, which was your job as a school board member isn't just sitting in meetings, asking the right questions, researching, and making the right decisions. That is, for me, the bare bones of what you're supposed to accomplish. That's what you're elected to do. What I have done, what I promised to do, and what I have done is try to get more community involvement. I'm the only school board member that has a monthly newsletter that goes out talking about what's going on in the district, what's going on at the school board level, and what my rationalizations were for why I made those decisions. I'm the only school board member that has monthly meetings to accompany those newsletters, telling people it's kind of like office hours, where I say, come to me at this location. I'll be there hour, 2 hours. Talk to me about anything. Anything. No subject is off limits. It can be administrators, teachers, students, parents. Everybody is welcome to attend. And from there, I get a really good sense of what's going on in this district. And so I really enjoy that time. Sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes it's just me and a book. And sometimes, including the last couple of times, there have been about 20 people there trying to discuss various things that are going on.
Osman is an interesting name. My last name is Frizzell, it's German. Does your name have a particular ethnic, I want to say diversity, origin?
Well, I'll say that the Osman name itself historically is Turkish. There was an Osman Empire that actually preceded the Ottoman Empire, so I could say that I'm related to royalty. But truthfully, I'm Jewish by nature, and so my family is Jewish, and that's what we celebrate.
Thank you for volunteering that information. We might come back to that in
Absolutely.
a minute. For the next 5 minutes, though, Mr. Osman, let's focus in on your vision for the Hickman Mills community. I'm gonna do some reading here if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
A Kansas City Star report in September of 2012 cited a drop-off in academic performance, leading Missouri Education School District to provisional accreditation status. Even higher criteria by the state are supposed to be in effect with the provisional accreditation status comes into review again in 2015. Mr. Osman, what is your vision plan for increasing educational standards, performances, and regaining full accreditation status?
The short answer, I think, is that we're well on our way to achieving full accreditation. There are a couple of different things that we deal with as far as point values are concerned. One is attendance. Last year we got 0 out of 10, which is completely unacceptable. The Missouri, what's called DESE, the Department of Early and Secondary Education, has completely revised their status as far as what it takes to get accredited in the district or in the state of Missouri. We're looking at attendance. We're looking at graduation rates. We are looking at college and career readiness. All of those things we are focusing in on this year. And from that, I expect that we're going to get to near accreditation this year. I do not believe that we will get to full accreditation this year, but the next step in the process is going to be about academics. And we have, for the last couple of years, put in tutors in place. We've got a new program in place as far as what we're debating on the board right now is getting an early childhood education center in the district. Beyond just, we've got a place called Freedom Markley, which is great, top of the line, but we're actually looking to increase it to all pre-K students. All 4-year-olds across the district can come to our early childhood centers. We're looking to revise the different configurations of grade levels to help better configure academics within different grade levels and different structures. And we're actually looking to help improve the test scores themselves through additional tutoring, through additional teacher resources. So from that, I believe that we can get full accreditation in the next 2 to 3 years.
That's a very ambitious plan. Very ambitious goal. For the next question, I want to focus in on your history, knowledge of the Hickman Mills School District community. Mr. Osmond, the district, Hickman Mills School District, was once located in a thriving business area. Some would say Bannister Mall, Hypermart. You could go all the way back to Ventures, Chuck E. Cheese, Sears, Children's Palace. Very thriving area, United Supers.
Yeah.
How important is it for school board members to work with business leaders to form partnerships to address the community's business concerns and moving forward? And I'm not saying we have Burger King now, we have Walgreens, some businesses, but how important is it a priority for school businesses, school districts, school boards, the role of school boards to form partnership with businesses?
Absolutely. My philosophy is there are two reasons that people move into a school district or into a district, or why they build a home. One is the community that's there and what commercial opportunities there are there. Two is the school district. How good is the school district? And we need to focus in on both of those things. I want to make sure that we're working well with the businesses within our district. I've actually we had negotiations with Cerner earlier this year as they're building and expanding their headquarters in South Kansas City in the Hickman Mills district. I set up a meeting with our president, with our legal counsel, to make sure that we got funds from that deal. And we actually, because of our negotiations and because of what I was able to do, we managed to pull in an additional $2 million worth of resources from Cerner and from the deal that's coming through that can go towards STEM education and things like that. That's the type of business relationship that I want to have as well. Another thing that I did was I worked with a local business that was actually going out of business, and it was a music store. They needed to figure out what they're going to do with all of their musical instruments. I said, why don't you bring it to Hickman Mills? And they did. That's a very short negotiation, but I got $70,000 worth of musical equipment for Hickman Mills to go to everywhere from early childhood education all the way up to high school. And it's just about reaching out to the community. It's about, if you don't ask the question, you don't get the answer.
Okay, I think that kind of answers my third question as well. There are still grandparents in the area who are alumni and have connection to our schools. People remember the tornado. How will you work with community members, parents, and teachers to accomplish your goals?
I've been the PTA representative for the school board for the last 3 years. This is not a necessarily a volunteer position, in that you can't ask to be on there. The PTA asks you. They choose one board member that they want to work with for the next every single year, and each year they've chosen me to work with them to represent them, because they understand, they know, and they trust that I'm going to come in, listen to the concerns of the parents, listen to the concerns of the teachers as well, and take that back to the board and help implement policy in that way. And I think that over those years, I've built up a trust and relationship with them, that they know that they can come to me with questions and concerns, and it is a communication of a two-way street.
Excellent. As current sitting vice president on the Hickman Mills School Board, Mr. Osmond, will you welcome new members to the school board to accomplish your objectives?
Absolutely. For me, my philosophy has been that we are 7 members of a board, each one getting 1 vote, and no one person is more important than any other person. And I don't see...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't see the school board members as my opponents. I don't see the candidates as my opponents. What I see are potential people that come onto the board, and I'm trying to figure out, who can I work with best? Who is going to work with me to better the school district? Who's going to pay attention to the issues and not pay attention to special interests? And the people that have the right heart and the right mindset, I can work with anybody.
Okay. 2 questions, and I'll give you the floor for final words. We have about 3 minutes here. Mr. Osman, Kansas City Star articles released this week point to not so sound business policies and procedures being practiced by members who sit on the Hickman Mills School Board. And by this week, I mean last Tuesday. This will be the end of a 7-day period. You talked about issues versus special interest group. Some of the special interests were practiced and are detailed in the audit report by Missouri auditor, and I don't want to mispronounce his last name, Tom Schweich. Do you have any comments regarding these reports that were made public?
The board as a whole has known about these issues for a long time. The audit itself has gone on for about 21 months. Within a few months of being coming into it, they greatly expanded what they were searching for, and the reason why is because they kept finding issues and problems, and those problems all stemmed from Mr. Anderson, the then president of the Hickman Mills School District. He's mentioned a number of times in the audit. The issue for me is, what do we do about it? We knew about a number of the problems that were happening well before this audit came out. That's why I'm the vice president of this district. That's why Eric Lowe is the new president of this district. It's because when we found out about the issues that were going to come out in the audit, we said, this must stop. It cannot continue. We need to focus in on academics. We need to focus in on sound financial decisions, and neither of those were happening under President Anderson. So last May, we reorganized the district, and we called for reorganization, and we took over the leadership positions. And since then, the auditors have actually said things have gotten better. They said that the district is working better, and I fully expect that when the auditors come back in the next 3 to 4 months to check up on us, they will see that under our leadership, we've actually improved this district considerably.
2 questions. Mr. Osman, you have sat on the school board since 2011. How would you assess the Hickman Mills School Board performance during your current tenure? Give us 5 creative words or less.
5 words. Well, I've just used 2. It really depends on when we're talking about. If we're talking about 2 years ago, we're talking about dysfunction. We're talking about mismanagement. We're talking about a inappropriateness of funds and an inappropriateness of what direction we were heading. But if we're looking at even just the last year, with this new superintendent, Dr. Carpenter, that's come in, and the new board outlook and how we're relating, we're looking at academics. We've got a strong financial future. We have, we are well on our way to not only full accreditation, but a great STEM program, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and a really great early childhood education center. I really think that as we go on, Hickman Mills is going to be the envy of Kansas City.
That's awesome. I don't think we have to say anything else. If you have any final words, please address our viewers.
I will just say, if you wanted to find out any more information about me, my goals, what I hope to accomplish over the next 3 years, and what I have accomplished over the last 3 years, please come to my website, www.osman4hickman.com, and you'll find out everything you needed to know. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Glenn Bryan Frizzell. What's up, Kansas City? Check out more Hickman Mills Public School Board candidate interviews on www.whatsupkansascity.net. And remember, the sky is the limit. Aim high. Shoot for the moon. If you missed, at the very least, you would have landed among the stars. Till next time, take care.
Thank you.
CMG wants you to always remember, the victory we call success goes to the best prepared. When you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Thanks.